If there's one thing every Pokemon fan can agree on, it's the fact that legendaries are the best. So in the name of Pokemon fans everywhere, I had the crazy idea to make everything legendary in Pokemon Violet. That's right, every single trainer Pokemon, wild Pokemon, and boss Pokemon in this world is a legendary. Can I beat the game if everything is a literal god? Let's find out. So as always, we wake up in the wonderful world of Paldea, and yup, that is an Okidogi, a Chi-Yu, and an Uxie right outside my door. Oh, good morning, guys. This run is gonna be fun. Of course, these three are gonna be our choice of starter, and I already know exactly which one I'm going with. But before I choose, I wanna know which legendary Pokemon is your favorite. Mine is definitely Rayquaza, so leave a comment below and let me know. So back to which of these I'm gonna pick. I could go with Okidogi because one, he has an amazing name that's hilarious, and two, having a poison fighting type with such a high attack stat this early on could be pretty huge for us. Or I could also go with Chi-Yu, the dark fire fish, which could be good for the early gyms. Or I could go with Uxie because I am Gen 4 pilled, and yeah, I'm gonna go with Uxie. Sorry about it. I named this little guy, and of course we are immediately challenged to a battle by our rival Nemona. Now, for our first Pokemon battle, this was rough. You see, Nemona chose Chi-Yu, which matches up against our little Uxie pretty well. Confusion can't actually damage it because it's a dark type, which is immune to our psychic type attack, so pretty much all we could do was sit here and rest until we finally died, which was pretty unfortunate. So after waiting and waiting and waiting some more, Nemona eventually wore me down, and we started the runoff with a nice fat loss. Hopefully this fight isn't an indication of how future battles will go, but we'll find out. To avoid this situation in the future, we decided to take some time and teach Uxie some moves that can actually do damage to dark types. We added on Magic Room, Wonder Room, and Iron Tail. Now that we can actually fight, we head to the beach, and I don't think that's a Mew. Okay, let's try catching it and see what happens, I guess. What? Mewtwo just transformed into Mew? That is, strange. And look! Oh, a field full of Groudons. I don't think I'll ever get used to seeing stuff like this. Is this thing on? Okay, good. Gamers, this is a message for you. I have to be quick. I don't have much time. They're looking for me. This might sound crazy, but this is a message from the future, and this is a future with no video games. I can't get into it here, but some crazy things have happened, and that's why I've come back in time to try to save gaming by partnering with today's sponsor, Fuse. Fuse is an app built for gamers, by gamers, a dedicated space for gamers to come together and celebrate their love of video games. On Fuse, you can connect with other people who share your passion and join in on curated conversations around your favorite games. You can share insights and create and explore curated content specific to your gaming interests. You can also create your own personal top 10, keep track of all the old games you played with personal rankings and reviews, and you can also level up on the app to unlock items and accessories for your personalized avatar, which goes ridiculously hard. They definitely did not have to make it this sick. If you download the app today, you can get in on some crazy giveaways that they're running on things like an Xbox Series X Galaxy Edition, a 1TB OLED Steam Deck, and the Black Myth Wukong Collector's Edition. It's free to try it out, and there's no risk, and you could win one of those things. It's like missing out on free money if you don't do it. Check it out at the link in the description. Download Fuse today. Tell them Quinn sent you. Please help me save gaming. Oh no. They found me. I have to go. Anyway, I arrived at the beach to find my future best friend Miraidon laying there in pain. I gave him the best medicine, a sandwich, and he agrees to help me get out of this spooky cave. And you could say the bonding is going great already. Now, usually in the game, we would get jumped here by a pack of wild Houndours and a Houndoom, but they're not legendary. So instead, oh my god, it's Necrozma, or Latias? I don't know. Either way, we are screwed. Fortunately, we don't need to worry about this battle as our best buddy Miraidon scares Necrozma away. Whew. So after waking up safe and sound out of the cave, we are introduced to Arvind, who, of course, challenges us to a Pokemon battle. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. And he has a Lugia. Oh god. But it's okay. Thanks to my genius Gigabrain starter choice, we have Uxie, who can use Wonder Room to swap our defensive stats and just tank the hits with ease, is what I would say if things went according to plan, but I misclicked and used Magic Room instead. Oops. Oh well, it turns out this Lugia is actually pretty weak offensively, so I don't even need to swap the stats. And after a slow battle of attrition, little guy lands a mean Iron Tail for the win. Ha! Take that, Arvin! Our next stop was Cortando, where we could fight the first gym leader, Katie. But it's not going to be that easy. Like I said, every Pokemon is legendary or mythical, and that includes gym leaders too. That means all my previous knowledge of which Pokemon they have, their weaknesses, and what I need to do to beat them is all useless. Katie isn't just going to have a Nimble, Tarantula, and Teddiursa like usual, no. She's gonna have 3 random legendaries that are going to be incredibly difficult to beat. So it was time to catch more Pokemon of my own. And this took a while. As you may well be aware, legendary Pokemon are super hard to catch, and this ended up taking a while. I tried to catch a Groudon, a Regidrago, a Kyurem, and many more, but it was just escape after escape. Nothing was working until I found Wo-Chien, and even then, I had to get it super low and use an absolute metric ton of Pokeballs. My little party of 3 was enough to get me past the grunts at the academy and through my first day there, but before I was to face Katie, I knew I still needed to catch something stronger. So back out into the wild I went. And again, so many different legendaries just refused to stay in a Pokeball. That is, until I ran into Glastrier. This is actually an amazing Pokemon to run into. I actually really wanted to get an Ice type early to help counter the inevitable horde of Dragon type Pokemon that we'll run into since so many legendaries are Dragon type. So this is a perfect find. It took a lot of throws, but we did finally get it, and I named this boy Big Horse. All right, let's go fight the first gym leader. The gym challenge was easy as always. You just have to push a giant olive around. So once that was done, it was time to face Katie. And oh god, she has a Suicune. This is just weird. It's just weird to live in this world. And yes, of course, I lost our first attempt. Suicune beat Lil Guy and Big Horse with ease, so yeah, we're gonna have to catch something that can help me deal with that. So back into the wild I went yet again. And just like before, it took a ton of time and a lot of failed attempts, but eventually I found a Pokemon that should be powerful enough to make it happen. Necrozma. Look at how awesome this thing looks in this game. It is ridiculous, such a good model. After catching it, I named it Luma and went back to Cortando for the rematch with Katie. We meet again, Suicune. Charge Beam, go! Boom! Super effective. One more of those and Suicune was down. Easy. Next up was Iron Crown, but Luma toughs it out and takes another one down. And finally, we come face to face with Katie's ace, Kyurem. We use our boosted special attack from all the charge beams to fire off yet more charge beams to get this thing low, then swap out for Lil Guy, who hits a confusion for the win. And just like that, we've secured our first gym badge and we are on to the next. Yeah, so since catching Pokemon is so difficult in this run, I ended up killing a lot of the Pokemon I ran into by accident, and that sucks because 1, I don't get to catch the legendary, but more importantly, it also sucks because it means that I get a ton of accidental XP. So my party was a little over leveled in that battle, but because I'm over leveled, I can now go on straight on to the second gym with no training needed. And next up is Brassius. So I headed over to Artisan to face my next challenge. The battle begins and it's Big Horse versus Mew. We have the higher level, we have the higher attack, we should be good here, and we are. 1 avalanche and Mew goes down. Out next is Keldeo, who dies after 2 double kicks to the face. And finally we have... Why? Oh, why is it Entei? What is it? These gym leaders and their legendary dogs, man, I don't know what it is. And of course, 1 flame wheel from Entei and Big Horse goes down. But we should be okay, right? We still have 2 Pokemon that are higher level, right? Oh god, Luma's dead too. Okay, little guy, you're up. Use confusion. Boom, and that is another gym badge obtained. Whew! Yeah, that one was way too close. This legendary only thing that we got going on here is turning out to be way more difficult than I thought. So before we get into any more battles, let's at least catch one more powerful Pokemon, is what I decided before I spent about 10 minutes just looking around trying to find a Pokemon that would fit well into my party, and then spent about 20 minutes actually trying to catch it. The Pokemon I settled on was none other than Reshiram, which I called Yin, as in yin and yang. So that means we'll probably have to secure a Yang later. But anyway, now that we're a little stronger, we're ready for a rematch with our rival Nemona. Last time we were here, it was horrible. I just had to watch my Pokemon die slowly, which was just the worst start to a run I've ever had. But this time, things are different. Okay, copy me much? Getting a Reshiram? We literally just caught one of those. Okay, I guess it's a mirror match. Well, obviously I have the better Reshiram, so I use Dragon Breath for an easy 2-hit kill. And next out is Suicune. Really? Again? Stop with the dogs, man. Fortunately, we know exactly how to deal with this dog, so out comes Luma for some Charge Beam action. But of course, I flinch, and Luma faints. So out comes Big Horse for the double kick KO. Alright, all that's left is Chi-Yu, and I still have 2 fully healed Pokemon, so I swap back to Yin for some huge Dragon Breath attacks and take the win. The score is now 1-1 against Nemona, so we gotta make sure that we're prepared for our next encounter with her. But first, we have another gym battle to deal with. The third gym leader on the list is Iono, and of course, she leads with a freaking Rayquaza, man. At this point, I should not be surprised, right? They're all gonna have powerful Pokemon, but it's still so shocking every time. Alright, fine. I see your Rayquaza, and I raise you a Big Horse. One use of Avalanche, and unsurprisingly, that Rayquaza is toast. And Regigigas goes down almost just as easily. It only takes 2 super effective double kicks. This is going well. Next out is Uxie, so I swap out Big Horse for Lil Guy for the Uxie mirror match, just to prove my supremacy. As usual, my Lil Guy is simply better than Iono's, so I can just spam Iron Tail and get the win. Alright, now Iono is down to her last Pokemon, and what? It's another freaking legendary dog? Are you kidding me? Seriously, what are the chances here, man? Alright, at least we've dealt with Entei before, so all it takes is a couple crunches from Yin and a stomp from the Big Horse to get our third gym badge. With Iono defeated, now seems like a pretty good time to catch a couple more Pokemon for that sweet, sweet type coverage. As always, this took a very long time and a whole lot of Pokeballs, but I eventually managed to catch a Volcanion. As a callback to one of my old videos, I named this guy Vulcan, then headed back into the wild to catch one more Pokemon. It's still just crazy to be roaming the fields surrounded by literal gods and things that can destroy entire continents, but you know, I'll get over it eventually. Maybe. Eventually, we settled on catching a Verizon. This grass fighting type is a perfect fit for our team right now, so I threw a few great balls at it and named it Aerodynamic because just look at that head. Oh, perfect flow. Now that we have a full party, it was time to head to Cascarafa to face Kofu. Let me guess. His ace is gonna be one of the dogs, maybe a Raikou this time, who knows? Well, we'll have to wait and see because first we have to beat his lead Uxie. That's right, 2 gym leaders in a row have Uxie. I don't know why they all have the same Pokemon. It seems like they might be cooperating. Anyway, this part of the fight was pretty easy. Uxie just went down to a couple Night Slashes from Luma. Up next is a Pokemon that we actually haven't seen yet. It's Deoxys, who sees that he is outmatched and immediately retreats and swaps out to Cobalion. Kofu, you didn't have one of the dogs? Did you get left out of the meeting or something? What happened, dude? Anyway, this isn't much of a problem as I make use of our new boy Vulcan and blast Cobalion away with the Steam Eruption. Deoxys then returns to the battlefield, but not for long, as Luma finishes off the fight with a couple more Night Slashes. Overall, pretty easy fight. Kinda lame, Kofu. And since that was such a breeze, let's just see if we can speed through the next gym battle too. We head on over to the Gentleman's Lair to face Larry, where he leads with a familiar Chi-Yu. Not a problem, Vulcan destroys it with a Steam Eruption, which is a great start. Next out is Mew, which Yin takes a bite out of before Mew uses Baton Pass and swaps into Ho-Oh. Yin, watch out! No! Oh my god, this is a hard-hitting bird. Okay, let's try Vulcan, maybe? Guess not. Luma? No. Aerodynamic? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I just can't outdamage the heal that Ho-Oh has even with 4 different Pokemon. I guess we'll need to catch another Pokemon to counter this gigantic beast. So, that Ho-Oh has a Poison Terra type, meaning we really want either a Ground or a Psychic type Pokemon to counter it, and there's actually quite a few we can choose from. We could get Ting-Lu, we could get Munkidori, Lugia, Groudon, and so many more. But the first one that I found was Latios. I love both Latios and Latias, so I could not pass this guy up. After taking the time to catch it and level it up, it was finally time for the rematch. We meet again, Larry. So this battle starts in a very similar way to the first one. Chi-Yu and Mew both go down super easily, and the only one left standing in our way is Ho-Oh. But this time we have Latios. We both terrastalize our Pokemon, but Latios is ready to hit with a big ol' Luster Purge. It doesn't do the most damage in the world, but it's still way more than we were doing earlier. And to make matters better for us, Ho-Oh barely does any damage. A couple more Luster Purges, and that's yet another gym badge in our pocket. 5 down, 3 to go. But first, we're challenged to a battle by Nemona once again. Oh, hey, Deoxys is back. And now it's dead. Up next is, wait, what? Dialga? You changed your team up, Nemona. What's up with that? And why is it so big? What? After an unfortunate ancient power, Vulcan can't go on any longer, so I send out Latios. I try to use Dragon Breath, but it doesn't do much damage. Then Dialga uses their own Dragon Breath, and I nearly die. This is not looking too good. Latios gets taken out, so I try sending in Luma, but again, my attacks barely do any damage. I get saved temporarily when Nemona withdraws Dialga, but once again I find myself staring death in the face when she sends in a Darkrai. What happened to Reshiram and Suicune from our last battle? Did Nemona just throw them away? Like they were nothing? What are Pokemon to you, Nemona? Just trash for you to use in your dog fighting? You disgust me. Anyway, I try to swap to Yin to battle Darkrai, but I'm instantly put to sleep while Darkrai chips away at my health with Sucker Punch. My last Pokemon is a damaged Luma, who also goes to sleep, so this battle is all but over. And I guess that means it's 2-1 in favor of Nemona. Ouch. Well, it was obvious at this point that there was no way I could just go to the next gym and win. I had to spend a bit of time leveling up, so we even stood a chance. But while filming my training montage, I actually came across an iron boulder. Not wanting to pass this opportunity up, I threw some great balls at it and got myself a rock type. With the nickname screen up, I dug deep into the most creative parts of my brain and came up with the name Boulder. It's perfect! Genius magnifique! Alright, now that my party is all around level 42, it's time to take on Rhyme. Is that a Zapdos back there? I can barely see because Luma is literally blocking half of my screen. Anyway, this fight was a little strange. It was a very long fight, but mostly because there's a ton of cutscenes in here and there were constant stat changes. Like, seriously, there are so many buffs and debuffs in this fight, it's ridiculous. But the fight itself wasn't too bad. Latios and Luma beat Raging Bolt and Zapdos with ease, then Luma and Boulder team up to take out Zarude. And now all that was left was Regirock. And you know, you gotta hand it to him, he is trying his best. Look at this little guy. Yeah, he's trying his best. But his best is not nearly enough as Yin and Luma power through the living rock. And that's 6 gym badges in the bag. Let's go! Now it was on to our next challenge, the gym leader Tulip. But before that, we have our 4th fight with Nemona, the penultimate rival battle. Let's hope she doesn't have any new surprises in store for us this time. So the battle begins and it's Vulcan versus Latias. Okay, well, there's one surprise. I decided that Yin would be better suited for this matchup, so I swapped them out and hit it with a Dragon Pulse that leaves Latias in the red. The bird then retaliates by paralyzing us, but that doesn't stop us from getting one more attack in and finishing the red boy off. Unfortunately, Deoxys deals the final blow to Yin, but that allows me to bring out Luma for a one-hit KO. It's at this point that another new Pokemon emerges in the form of Regigigas. I don't know how Nemona is finding the time to get all of these different legendaries. It takes forever to catch these things. Anyway, it's a long battle between Luma and Regigigas, especially since he's constantly constantly using Protect just to stall for literally no reason. But we slowly chip away at it and get down to the last of Nemona's Pokemon. Please no Dialga, please no Dialga, please no. Whew. Just a little goldfish, we're good. And with a couple hits from Latios, we claim our victory. The score is now 2-2 against our rival, and it's all tied up, but we'll get the chance to settle the score once and for all in just a little bit. First, we have to take down some more gym leaders, starting with Tulip and Alfrenata. I beat the gym challenge with ease as usual, and the fight begins. Ogerpon tries to hit Vulcan with the throat chop, but it barely does anything to us. Have you seen Volcanion? He barely has a throat. His chin is so pointy, why would you try to chop it? That is ridiculous, so dumb, dude. Anyway, Vulcan hits back with Incinerate and boom! Oh, that's less damage than I thought it would do. And it just healed. Okay, cool. I tried to use Incinerate again, but stop! Stop healing! It's cheating! I'm not sure what it is with these legendary Pokemon, but they always get stuck in this loop of just using the same move over and over again, and it's always just a defensive or healing move to stall out the fight for no reason. Annoying. Anyway, I get stuck in this limbo until I assume Ogerpon runs out of uses of Synthesis. Once it's back to going for throat chops, I chip away at it with a few more Incinerates. Unfortunately, Vulcan can't hold out, but thanks to the damage he did, Luma easily beats Ogerpon. Taking out Ting-Lu is easy enough, I just spam Giga Drain and finish it off with a Dragon Pulse. And then, of all things, a Koraidon shows up in Pokemon Violet. Very strange, how surreal, kind of weird, okay. It doesn't really seem to live up to the hype though, because it just dies to 2 Dragon Pulses from Latios. And now, Tulip's final Pokemon is Registeel, and I don't have anything super effective against this thing, but it decides to just use Curse over and over again, so Latios just pokes it with Dragon Pulse until it dies. And now we are getting super close to the big leagues now. There's only one more gym badge to get, and then we can take on the Elite Four. So I think now is probably a good time to really start prepping for that. So let's go on a catching spree, starting with Groudon. It's about time that I caught this beast. I've been eyeing him for quite some time. He is super powerful, weirdly common, and our first ground type, and I doff the Angular. Next, we should finally go catch the Yang to our Yin, and who better to take on the name than Zekrom. He is dark, but he still has that little twinkle of light in his eye. But we're not stopping there. I'm also catching a Regidrago, which I named Ball, and to match our Groudon, I got a Kyogre, which I call Water. I really wasn't feeling the creative nicknames on this run, it doesn't seem. Anyway, now that our team is absolutely stacked, let's go blast through this final gym leader. Hey Grusha, good luck! Now, obviously, I'm not going into this fight with a full party, since Grusha only has 4 Pokemon, and using any more would make it too easy. So in this battle, I have Angular, Ball, Yang, and our lead, Yin. Grusha starts with Latias, which we know we can easily beat with Dragon Pulse, and then Zekrom comes out to take its place. Oh, it's Yang versus Yin. Or it would be, but that's a terrible matchup for me, so we swap to Angular. Once Angular is out, Zekrom's Dragon Claw attacks are absolutely pitiful. I terrestrialize Groudon and answer back with Precipice Blades, and boom! Zekrom is down in one singular hit. I stick with Angular against Regigigas so I can use Hammer Arm, and bang! A big hit from our boy! One more attack and Grusha is on the ropes. This is it. The final Pokemon of the final gym leader before we can fight the Elite Four. We just need to beat this silly Urshifu. I hit with another Precipice Blades, and Urshifu is almost defeated in a single shot. Angular does finally give in at this point, but the damage is done, and this fight is basically over. Ball comes out for the cleanup, and that is all 8 gym leaders beat. And now it is Elite Four time. So I head on over to Mesagoza and reach the Pokemon League building, and as always, our first opponent is Rika. After passing her test, we head into the arena to begin the battle. We're met with Regigigas again as Rika throws out her first Pokemon. I start with Angular and immediately terrestrialize and use Hammer Arm. It kinda goes without saying, but this does some massive damage. Not quite enough to one-shot, but it doesn't matter since I barely take any damage from the enemy's attacks. One more hit and we're on to the next Pokemon. As the next Pokemon enters the battlefield, I'm hit with flashbacks of me as a wee lad playing Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire on my Game Boy Advance. This is truly a matchup for the ages, but unfortunately we do have the type disadvantage, so I have to swap out to Yang. The rain here is a bit of a pain, but it doesn't help to maintain Kyogre's health, as the beast is slain when I hit with the power of a train using the plain old strategy of using super effective attacks. Sticking with this basic strategy, I use Angular's Precipice Blades to swiftly dispatch the next Pokemon, and the next Pokemon, which is another Regigigas, I guess. And then finally, I use Avalanche to dispatch Rika's Lugia, and that is the first member defeated. Next up is Poppy, who starts with a Koraidon, and I know we're getting close to the end now, but I still cannot believe what I'm seeing sometimes. I start by terastallizing Luma so I can beat Koraidon with a couple Psycho Cuts. Against Spectrier, I use Night Slash and then swap to Yang for Crunch to finish it off. And for Latias, I use Big Horse's Icicle Crash. And it turns out that was the perfect time to swap to Big Horse, because next up is Lugia, who is a Pokemon with a weakness to, well, Icicle Crash. After a one-hit kill, all Poppy has left is Zekrom, so I swap to Angular and use Precipice Blades, and oh, it missed, yeah. It can do that, right. I said I use Precipice Blades. What? Another miss? Please! I said I use Precipice Blades. Thank God. Okay, that was unnecessarily scary. And that's half of the Elite Four beat, but let's not stop here. Up next is Larry. I quickly heal up my party, then get ready to fight. Urshifu. The last time I fought this Pokemon, it gave me a little trouble. I didn't mention it, but it actually took out 3 of my Pokemon before going down. This time, though, I know exactly what to do. I swap to Yang to use Fusion Bolt, and boom! Just like that, Urshifu is done. Kubfu comes out next and intimidates me with how adorable it looks. Look at this little guy, so cute, dang. Zit Headbutt! No mercy! Next, we have to beat a Spectrier once again, so we do. And now Larry is on the ropes because he only has 2 Pokemon left. So far, this fight is going incredibly well. Yang is absolutely sweeping everything. And it might just keep going that way because the next fighter out is Cosmog, another cutie that Yang just so happens to be super effective against. I hit with Crunch and yeah, it's dead. Yeah, definitely dead. Finally, Larry's last-ditch attempt is to throw out Iron Leaves, and sadly, due to the accumulated damage, we're not going to be getting the Yang sweep. So sad. It goes down, so I send out Big Horse, who, also dies. Okay, let's try Ball. What is happening? Oh, God, please, no, not the reverse sweep, man, not the reverse sweep. Angular, you got this, right? Oh, whew, that could have been highly embarrassing. All right, Hassel, it's time. Face me! So, Hassel is usually, debatably, the most difficult of the Elite Four, thanks to his surplus of Dragon-type Pokemon. So, let's see how this goes now that his party is randomized. Okay, so he has, Solgaleo. Maybe this won't be any easier, that's unfortunate. Well, thankfully we do have a Groudon, so after swapping, I use the blades to do some serious damage. With Solgaleo defeated, Suicune is up next. It may have super effective moves against me, but I thought I'd try to tough it out and attack with the blades again. Unfortunately, this works out in my favor, and we're now way ahead in this battle. Once Enamorus is out, I swap to Yang for those electric attacks, and then swap back to Angular against Diancie. So far, we're destroying Hassel's entire party. Let's see if we can keep up this momentum. For his ultimate Pokemon, Hassel has chosen Wo-Chien. I try to hit with a Hammer Arm, which is super effective, but it's not quite enough to finish the fight. Wo-Chien returns with his own super effective move, Power Whip, and ooh! That was close. With just 15 HP left, I have to attack first to win this battle. I go for another Hammer Arm and, ooh, the speed drop screws me over. We get hit with another Power Whip and Angular goes down. No! Oh wait, I still have 5 other Pokemon, don't I? Okay, well, Ball can use Hammer Arm too, so I just do that and Hassel is defeated. Woo! That means no more Elite Four. Now it's time to head to the roof and face the champion. Hello, Gita. Ready to lose your title? Let's do this. So Geeta starts by throwing out Lugia, then she swaps to Regice, then she swaps again to Mew. Geeta, stop! Okay? After she gets done with all that, I choose to fight with Yang and attack with Crunch. It's a super effective move which does a ton of damage to Mew, and thankfully, Geeta doesn't swap this time, meaning I can land another Crunch to finish it off. Regice returns, but it is now low on HP thanks to our earlier encounter, so another Crunch, and that is 2 Pokemon down already. Next up we have a new one, it's Regieleki. And Yang probably could have done this, but why not use our big boy instead? So I bring out Angular and use Hammer Arm. It feels like there's nothing Groudon can't do, as after just 2 attacks, Regieleki is out of there. Lugia returns to the field, but just like Regice, it's already missing most of its HP thanks to our earlier attacks. Angular goes down, but that's okay. 1 attack from Big Horse is all I need. The Icicles come down on Lugia, and we're now down to Geeta's final 2 Pokemon. We're in a very good position now, we just need to keep it up. For Terrakion, I choose to bring out Luma and Terrastalize. After hitting twice with Psycho Cut, the beast goes down. It's close though, Luma is left on just 18 HP. Geeta's last-ditch effort is her final Pokemon, Heatran. I know Luma isn't going to be much use against this thing, so I stay in and use Psycho Cut for that extra little bit of damage just before it faints. Fortunately, I'm able to use this opportunity to bring in the perfect counter Pokemon to Heatran in the form of Vulcan. We're hit with Earth Power, which does a crazy amount of damage, but we manage to cling on to life. Not to worry though, 1 Steam Eruption and this fight should be over. Vulcan charges up the attack and... a miss? What? No! We're hit with Earth Power again and Vulcan goes down. Oh no, this could be bad, huh? That is so unlucky. Okay, Yang, you got this. Please. Okay, Zen Headbutt and Crunch don't do much damage, but at least it's something, okay? He's in the yellow, but now we're also down to our last Pokemon. It's all up to Ball. I send it out and select Hammer Arm. Ball charges up and... ooh, it is so close. Okay, 1 more Hammer Arm. Boom! We did it. We are officially now the best trainer in all of Legendary Paldea, but it's not quite over yet. There's still 1 more score I need to settle. That's right, it's time for the final match against Nemona. It's currently 2-2, so we have to win this for our dignity. So we head to the center of Mesagoza, and with the people of the city cheering us on, we head into the fight against Nemona. Here we go. Regigigas is first, which we managed to take out straight away by hitting it with a few double kicks. Easy enough. Next up is Kubfu, which is frankly an embarrassing Pokemon to send out, and we all know what's gonna happen. We use Zen Headbutt to take it. Okay, I guess not. Kubfu survived in the red and managed to one-shot us with a counter. Well played, Nemona. Well played. That shouldn't be too much of a problem though, as Luma is ready to finish off Kubfu. 1 Psycho Cut, and that's what I like to call an overkill. Nemona then throws out another new addition to her party, and now we have to beat a Zapdos. I wanted to stick with Luma for now, so I tried to use a Night Slash, but it barely did any damage. Then I tried to use a Psycho Cut, but Nemona withdrew Zapdos and threw out Chi-Yu, who is immune to it. Weird that she's sending out her ace so early, but whatever, that's okay. I switched to Ball for some super effective Hammer Arms, but Chi-Yu does way too much damage and Ball goes down. Ball did get some decent chip in though, so it doesn't take too much from Angular to beat Chi-Yu. So far, this is turning out to be an incredible rival battle. The score is tied at 2-2, and now we're both left here with 3 Pokemon each. But I do have the advantage. Nemona doesn't have any more Terra uses, but here Angular is, all stanced up, ready to attack with devastating Precipice Blades. Boom! 1 shot, and Mewtwo is out. Just like that, we take a commanding lead. 1 more Precipice Blades, and Cosmog is down 2. Groudon, you beast, my precious boy! This is it! Just Zapdos left. Nemona tries to delay the inevitable by spamming Detect, but it's no use. I use Hammer Arm after Hammer Arm, and boom! The final one connects, Zapdos is down, Nemona is defeated, and we have won the best of 5, 3-2. That is officially our challenge completed. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Till next time.